Hey family, welcome back to One on One with Cut Nice 50. Y'all already know what time it is. We got another amazing video review. Hopefully y'all out there staying safe, staying blessed, and just staying motivated, man. I know it's hard out there. It's a rainy day for me. I've been a little busy. I got my project in place, so I've been off the grid probably until Monday of next week. We're doing what we got to do. So I might put some little clips at the end of this video, let y'all know what I'm doing. So I don't know if I can kind of talk about it too yet, but y'all already know what I do on the side. But if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Click to the end and you'll see what I'm getting into right now. Another amazing video review. And y'all know I like my guy Tyrus. He's upfront. He speaks intelligently. He asks great questions. He wants to get to the bottom of whatever topic or political figure that he's talking about. Today, man, he sat down with President Trump, and this is pre-election, just to see why he's fighting, why he's running again, and what some of the things he wants to accomplish while he's in office. I think a lot of people, even if you don't like Trump, if you're against Republicans per se, this will shed a lot of insight of why Trump won by a landslide over Kamala. Like I said before, I don't have no political affiliation. I don't believe in politics per se, but I would like to say that I never vote for the Democratic Party because I do believe in women's rights. I do want to protect those who can't protect themselves, as far as kids and all that other stuff like that. That's the Democratic Party appears to be putting in schools and everything else. I just can't agree with it. If it goes against God's nature, I can't agree with it per se. So I kind of sat out this election. Like I said before, I don't do politics. But it's just signs of the time. I believe personally that we live in the last days. Maybe you don't believe that, but share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the politics. I do commend everybody who stood up to vote. Y'all see my post-election video, the numbers per se. But I just get tired of seeing this divide, with politics, with these rules as far as a woman's right. And we're not looking at the full breakdown of what they're trying to slide under the radar. I get it. Women need to have the right to do whatever they want to do. That's America. You always have the free will to do that. But when it comes to taking a life, that's a whole different ball game, and all my fellows and females out there who've been in the military, you already know what I'm talking about. But let's go ahead into this video right here, Tyson. I go down the whole rabbit hole. This is an amazing interview. If you want to know and learn something about Trump, this is it. This is why he won, and this is what he stands for. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go.
You debated Biden the first time, and you debated him the second time. How much of a difference did you notice from the two?
You look at Kamala, she's worse than Biden. The next day, you remember they announced that crime is up like 45%, so I was right. But I haven't gotten an apology from David, but I don't want him anymore. I haven't gotten an apology.
I have been so wrong about this man because I never understood why you fight the way you fight. You're a family man.
And y'all can think about that. He is a family man, but he is for God, apparently. Like, we don't know all the bases, but this is good.
Thank you so much for doing this. This is a tremendous honor for me.
I'm a big fan, so just so you understand.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad because I've got an issue with you. And and when you gave me this opportunity, first of all, thank you for coming on the Gutfeld show. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It's a good show.
And I actually owe you an apology before we start. I've been very critical about you, how you fight. All through the campaigns, I voted for you because I like policy. I didn't know you as a man. And I think when you don't understand what a man fights for, you can get lost, especially with all the noise we're seeing from fake news, et cetera. Created these pictures from you. So Gutfeld show's over. Cameras are off. We go backstage, and I expected you to be like every politician or anybody I've ever bought a celebrity I've bodyguarded for. And you met my family. And you talked to my daughter. Mm-hmm. My daughter is 10 years old. Her name's Georgie. You guys talked for 20 minutes. If nobody knew, you could have been her grandfather. And you were talking about her horses and her dreams. And I was sitting there and I was like, I have been so wrong about this man because I never understood why you fight the way you fight. You're a family man. You're a father.
And your daughters are gorgeous, really, and your wife, the whole thing. I mean, you have got some setup, I'll tell you. But your family's great and you're great and you've really done something and you've captured a certain spirit. A friend of mine who's very smart, he's also a very big guy. He said, because I'm big and strong, people think I'm not the smartest guy.
Oh, I know.
Okay? You are a really smart guy. And I see it and I've watched it and I like the show. And we have the privilege of having had the highest rating in the history of the show when I did it a couple of weeks ago. That was
of all time.
Of all time.
We beat network television.
You beat everybody.
And they were up 35 million homes.
Yes.
And it was a landslide.
Yep.
Now, you're putting it on me. I'm throwing it back to you, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Why do we not hear more about Donald Trump, the father, the grandfather? And I did a deep dive. There are some of the things you have done that when they say those horrible things like he's Hitler, he's a racist, did they not forget in 1991 what you did with Nelson Mandela? Would you care to share that? Because I would love to hear that.
I never talk.
No, you do not. And I know why, because you're a man.
Yeah. I mean, I just have great relationships with a lot of people. People say that, a little bit like you do. I don't think it's a narrative the press likes. Maybe it's not even a narrative that I should have. We have to protect our country, and maybe we should let the other side. I don't even call them the enemy. I think we have more of an enemy from within than we do from outside. If you have a smart president, they talk about China and Russia and everything else. If you have a smart president, they're not going to be the problem. We have a bigger problem from within, and they hate it. I noticed today they were saying he said the enemy from within. Of course, it's Adam Schiff. These are bad people. These are sick people and bad people, and it's true. But I think it's a narrative that they don't like, frankly. I think the fake news, a term I think I came up with. I'm very proud.
Oh, you did. You coined.
Now, if y'all don't know what Trump did for Nelson Mandela, research it for yourself. I don't know if he's going into it. This is a live reaction right here. I just got a lot of respect for my man, Tyrus right there. I met him before when he was wrestling, all these other things like that. But this right here will shed a whole lot of and Trump never talks about it. We always hear the bad spill from the media, whatever reason. But what reason did they have? I don't know. Maybe he is a part of the game. He said he used the same things that every other politician used, the whole system. So he is a businessman. We all know that. But I didn't hear pretty much no other politician besides my guy who I do like, Vivek Ramaswamy, talking about God and putting God back in the churches, schools, you name it, who actually putting that at the helm. But the enemy from within is a real thing. If y'all don't know, work for the government, law enforcement over 25 years. This is a serious thing that we take for granted, just like everything else. Waking up each and every day, we take for granted. Going to work every day, we take it for granted. Having a beautiful, loving family, we take it for granted because everything can change just like that. So let's go ahead and give thanks and be grateful for some of the things that we do have. We might not have everything that we want, but we have everything that we need for the time period that we're living in. So y'all don't know right now, I'm eating my lunch. I got some Ezekiel bread off the Bible. You can find it Publix, Whole Foods, all this other stuff. I think Walmart even starting to carry it, but it'll be in the freezer section. This bread don't last but 3 days, 2-3 days, max maybe 4 if you leave it out. So you got to keep it frozen, take out what you need, and then you eat it. You feel amazing. Everything else, put a little hummus, a little bit of shell hemp seeds on there, and avocado. So this is my pretty much lunch right here. Trying to get back right, trying to get back feeling like I need to be feeling, doing what the things I need to be doing, because we got some goals we're trying to achieve, and we got to get back to who we are, who we're meant to be. And that takes some work. That takes dedication. That takes consistency. That takes sacrifice from eating the way you want to eat, enjoying some of the foods and the cravings that you generally have. You can't do those things when you're trying to lose weight, get in shape, and just be a better version of yourself. But let's go ahead and keep it going. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And join the channel if y'all want to help us grow. We got some amazing interviews lined up with I guess a comedian. He's doing a project with me right now. I will be doing a podcast with him coming up. So just share your thoughts, join the channel, help us grow, and let me know what you think. Let us know what you want to see next. Let's go.
I'll try a trademark, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'll shoot
I'm not going to give you business tips.
But it's funny because it's a great term, but it's actually not strong enough because it's beyond fake. It's really bad.
Nelson Mandela and 80 of his constituents were trying to come to the United States.
Yeah.
The United States government wasn't helping him. No one was helping him. You chartered a 727 plane for their entire trip.
Mm-hmm.
How is somebody, and it's crazy because you can talk about anything, and why is it hard for you to talk about the things you've done? It runs in your family. Your father helped build a synagogue. I mean, why do we not know those things?
It's something that I've never, I love doing it. I don't need praise for it. I don't, we all like a certain level of praise, but I've never, I just like helping people. I help a lot of people and I enjoy doing it and I never talk about it. It's nice that you bring it up. I also think it's not a narrative that the press likes talking about, for me.
But I think it would help a lot of the American people who have been misled, I myself included. Now, listen, I'm voting for you now because of the man you are, not just because of the policies, because not every American will get the opportunity that I had to saw who you were backstage. And that's why I have this list. I mean, I have testimonials. We can't go through all of them because
I want to see them.
Now, this was, I had to dig deep.
I like that.
You donated $100,000 to raise dogs. You're not even a dog guy. Explain that.
Well, that's Lara. So I have a wonderful, the wife of Eric, and she's a terrific person. You know, she's actually now a very big, an important person in getting elected in the Republican Party. She comes from North Carolina. She loves the dogs. And I did that in her honor, actually. And, you know, if you listen to her, boy, dogs are treated very badly. They're, you know, some evil people having to do even with dogs. So I did that for my daughter-in-law, yeah, more so than me. I don't know that much about dogs, but I want to take care of them. And I had an opportunity. You know, as president, you can do a lot of things. I did a lot at the size of the kennels, the size of the cage. You know, there's like cages that they're in. And it's terrible. It's like you have no room, no nothing. And she came in with a whole group of people. These are people that really fight hard for dogs. I mean, you have people that fight. And she's a good person, so I did it for her.
Now, all y'all dog lovers out there, I myself personally, I do like animals and dogs, but it's like having another child. When you have kids, I can't do both myself personally because I tried it way back in the past, but it gets expensive going to the veterinarian, especially with their puppies. You'll spend $400-500 easily a month for them, so it is an extra expense. But I guess it is man's best friend. But share your thoughts about animals, on dogs specifically, and let me know what you think.
Have hundreds of employees who have said things like, you've paid medical bills, you paid mortgages, rents, you've helped get family members. There's one story in here where a brother came in with a business plan, nobody would hear him. You gave him 10 minutes, you shook his hand and you cut him a check. Why is it so hard for you and even your team? I'm a little upset. These are things that I think the American people, and I get it, you're humble because you're a father first, and a grandfather. And that's something, again, one thing we need in this country is we need a father figure again. We need husbands and boyfriends and young men we need to see that fathers are capable of great things, because we've dealt with it, especially in the last 3.5 years, a complete dismemberment of what it is to be a man. We're under attack for everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, manhood is under attack. I see things that are so beautiful, and the next day I see them knocking the hell out of somebody for doing something that a day before I said, what a wonderful thing. Now we have to get back a little bit more. You know, the other thing under attack is religion. Religion was like the glue that kept this country together, and so many people are mocking it now. They mock it, and it just kept our country together. But it's absolutely under attack, and under attack by this administration. And you look at Kamala, she's worse than Biden. Biden he's out of it, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But she's actually not as smart as Biden. Biden was smarter than her. I think to this day he is. And I don't think the country can take a chance on having her. I think it's a tremendous, I don't even think it's a chance.
Well, let me ask you,
I think it would be a disaster.
So let me ask you the question that was posed there last night that she refused to answer. You debated Biden the first time and you debated him the second time. How much of a difference did you notice from the two?
So, are you talking about her and him, or are you talking about just him?
This is interviews about him.
Well, he was different. I think he had a really bad night. I don't think
cognitively.
I don't know. He had a really bad the second time.
Yeah.
I think he had a really bad time of it. So I debated him before, and he was okay. Look, I hit him hard. I asked him about $3.5 million. Remember when Chris Wallace was protecting him? Chris Wallace is not doing so well. Chris Wallace is not Mike. but I asked him about the 3.5 given to him by the mayor of Moscow's wife. I said, how do you justify this? And then I always have 2 or 3 people to debate. The last time I had David Muir.
I call them interventions.
Oh, they're terrible. Well, David Muir, I said, crime is through the roof. It's way up. And he said, no, it's not. It's way down. The FBI said so. Well, the FBI didn't include a lot of places.
Funny how that is.
Yeah. The next day, you remember they announced that crime is up like 45%. So I was right. But I haven't gotten an apology from David Muir, but I don't watch him anymore. I haven't gotten an apology. No, I think Biden, look, the debate he had was not great. But I think that he's a step above her, actually.
Speaking of apologies, the brave men and women on the border, especially the horse division, that their lives were put in shambles. One of the things I have on my policy list was that would you consider giving them a day at the White House, a moment to be recognized?
Are we talking what they were saying about the whipping, and everything else, which didn't exist?
Not just them, but their families. When the president of the United States comes out and condemns them.
You do it. You set it up. We win. I'm there because I said we have to win. If we don't win, we're not going to have a country. You're right. They were brutalized. You know, it's interesting. These people are not smart, but they're vicious. They're very vicious. And you see it. It's like fascist. It's like Marxist. I don't know what the hell it is. But the level, look at me, the weaponization of the Justice Department. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
America, again, this is not hyperbole. This is a guy, I don't fly private jets. I fly every airport I go to all over the country. 4 years ago.
Are you able to use like one seat? Because you are
first class. First class, of course.
Yes,
one seat. Yeah.
Well, that means you have to stay wealthy.
Well, right? Or keep billing Fox. One or the other.
That's even better.
But yeah,
I like that even better.
Outsource the bill. But again, when I think about the verbiage and the things that are said about you, even after, we don't even know how many assassination attempts there has been. But we know too, one of the things that that when you, in that moment, when you stood up and you yelled, fight, 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 again, that's where I'm seeing the father. It wasn't about you. It was letting your family know you're okay and you're more concerned about the people. But yet, I'm still waiting for the interview to talk to you about that. Why are we not sharing in that? That was a tremendous moment. I was in Oklahoma doing a stand-up show, and I thought I was going to cancel because I wasn't leaving the TV screen.
Now, share y'all thoughts about the assassination attempts. Now, that's when they said domestic terrorism from within, the enemy from within. When was the last time y'all seen somebody attempt to assassinate a president from within in the United States? I know Haiti, the president got assassinated. Nobody talking about that yet. I did a story about it. I might go ahead and replay it, edit it so it'll be an older video. So I might just go ahead and put that back out. That's why I believe in immigration from what was going on with the people over there. But when have you seen American president get attempted assassinated? And they're not really, I can't say taking it seriously, but it's like, it's a natural or normal thing. You know, generally the fear, you trying to assassinate a president, generally you're not going to be alive. That's always generally the case. But it just, what kind of world did it come to that you even go that far to attempt? I know, I get it from what they were saying about him, Hitler, threat to democracy, this and that. If you're not mentally sound, you'll think you're doing a favor to the country. I mean, and we have a lot of people who want the best. If you're getting scared of him, you actually think he's going to be a Hitler per se. You would want to take him out or whatever the case, if you're not mentally right, you know. So who knows what allegedly they're doing behind the scenes, but this just doesn't happen, man. Like I said before, we always try to pray for everybody. We don't wish no kind of harm or death to come to anybody out there, no matter your political beliefs or, you know, for him, Trump running for president again. It wasn't bad before. So we're acting like he wasn't in the house before. But share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the assassination attempts and when was the last time you seen that coming.
Watching an assassination attempt.
People were watching that. There's no question about it. That was a big deal.
But I went anyways to the show thinking no one would come, and they came. And instead of doing a stand-up show, I did a Q&A talk about it. And there was a lot of veterans that were there that were talking about how much they support you and they believe in you, and that they were generally concerned, but they said they had no fear because when they saw you stand, you stood for them. Because veterans, our police, our first responders have been, forget the moral outrage of how they're treated. They've been the funding, stuff like that. And you have been doing some stuff with taxes. Now, I did a little bit, and I'm not a mathematician, but I did a little bit of checking. One of the things, one of the policies, like, would you consider thinking about for our veterans, for those who serve, for those who are police department, to where their taxation is the fact that they're giving their bodies to this country instead of having to pay taxes? None of these cities want to give them raises, so at least let them keep their money.
I've never heard that before, and it's like a very interesting thing. It's the kind of thing you would think of, right? Because they have been treated so terribly.
It's going to take more than a hug. We need to, and here's the deal. If you're looking at serving in this country,
I like that,
in the military or police officer or firefighter.
Hey man, that was an amazing question. It took me a little second to even realize what he said. But just imagine, I'm a first responder, if y'all don't know that. Your veterans, your first responders, keeping your tax money. We already know underpaid, overworked, all this stuff right here. What do you think about them implementing something like that? He already said he's going to cut off the taxes on overtime, wages, and tips and stuff like that. What do you think about first responders not being taxed on their money? We already know the money that they make is nothing. The shortages in first responders, you can't get people to do them because they don't make enough. And you got the criticism. Your life could be in danger, or somebody think you're a racist cop, you're a bad cop, you don't know what you're doing. The list goes on and on when you take that into consideration, being a first responder. But share your thoughts, man. That is amazing. I would support it myself. Let's go.
And like, you're young and you're coming up, and you don't have to pay taxes because you're paying. It's almost an incentive to where we can get people interested.
And other countries do that, as you know. Yeah, other countries do that.
Of course they do.
In spades. It's something I would think about. It's something that nobody ever brought up. I've never heard it. It's interesting you're bringing it up. You're like my tax person there. But, something has to be done.
Yes.
And we have to attract
I think you're the president to do it.
Well, the military is now not attracting people. They're not going in. And I think it's because they don't respect the people at the top, the commanding officer. I mean, the commander-in-chief is not, I think you have to have, we were not having this problem 5 years ago. We have problems in the military right now. The one thing I will say, though, and I tell the story, we really did a great job with our military. I rebuilt the military, and we got rid of ISIS. And I got to know them during this very short period of time. It was supposed to take 5 years. We did it in about a month. Remember that?
Yep.
And I got to know the real military, not these guys that are woke and that are like.
Woke.
Should I mention them? Yeah.
I think we get it with the woke.
No.
Yeah. I'm knowing. Trust
with
me.
Millie and his statements. Yes. And I mean, look, I guess Mattis is a nice guy, but we have people in there that are much different. Not the people on television, the people that got rid of ISIS quickly. I was told it was going to take 5 years, and we did it in a matter of literal weeks. And I said, this is a great military. And by the way, they're not woke. You could never make them woke. These are guys, you will never, ever make them woke. But they did a great job. Great job.
Now, you brought a Space Force.
Yeah.
And now partnering with Elon Musk and stuff, I think we're going to have some great things. But one of the things I've been very critical of this administration is that I think we need to have a school force. We need to make our schools hard targets. Mm-hmm. And there's again, looking for employment for our servicemen when they come out. Because I feel like what's happening in our schools isn't a police thing, it's a military thing. Because they are trained to look for these signs and stuff. If we had military, not necessarily military, but they'll be coming over, we use social workers, military police, and we each.
So let me ask you this. So what about teachers that are in the military and they're teachers, they leave the military, they become history teachers, they become math teachers, and they're in the room and they get to know the students and they know how to use a gun. You can't have people that don't have any idea about what to do with guns. But people that were in the military, that are in the classroom, and they have access to guns, whether it's on them or in a little safe or something. The problem is if it's in a safe, it takes a long time
Right.
to get it, right? So, but sometimes I think, and I've heard that and I've thought about it a lot. And in some ways, I like that more than just having police standing someplace in the building. Do you like that idea? It would be a small percentage of the teachers, like 5%, but that would be much more than you would ever have with.
Anything is better than nothing. Our banks are safer than our schools.
And that's a tricky subject myself. Like I said before, I know they got resource officers, but generally it's one officer per school, or maybe even twice, depending on the size of the school, and that's a rare occasion. Teachers who were former military, that'll be the number to be extra low, unless they reserve or something like that. Having weapons. Still, you think about it, it's like putting the guard in the corrections facility. So saying you're in a prison facility, one guard to a group of inmates. It's like giving that guard a weapon. Yes, they're going to be outnumbered. Of course, these are kids who don't think about that, but the teacher can be overrun at any time. But if they're trained to do it and doing their job, then that should never occur, per se. But I don't know, man. That's a tricky subject. Yes, it would be better than nothing, like Tyrus said. I just don't know where I stand on that, having weapons by the teachers in there. Maybe if it is concealed, I'll probably be on board more with that. Teachers who are ex-law enforcement military having concealed weapons where students don't know. So if it is in the case of a active shooting, they are armed and ready. But having it shown, I think that's a little bit more risky than anything else because the students already know whatever the case may be. But I don't know. But share y'all thoughts. Let me know, man. That's a hard one. I would be for more of the metal detectors if for precaution. Security patrols and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't care if they're unarmed or whatever the case. Having you got the resource officers, but at least hiring more security patrols to help the police officer if they need to, who may even be armed, just driving around the facility or stuff like that. I think I'll be more inclined for that because they will have additional weapons close in the vicinity. And that's generally is lower price than the armed officer from the local law enforcement on campus. You can save money that way and just have the extra weapons. You're just paying for their storage. With the security officer, we'll have that in a lockbox just in case. I think I like that better, and concealed teachers being concealed. But share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about these ideas. They're amazing ideas.
Investment are our kids.
Yeah.
So I have an issue with that. And here's the deal. I've learned a lot about this administration trying to get things done and talking to people. I speak with a lot of mayors and a lot of my travels and stuff. And this administration was supposed to be all about the environment and the Green New Deal and all that crap. But it's amazing. So
you notice how that stopped? I'm in the middle of a campaign, hopefully the end of a campaign, and it's going to be successful. But we're in a campaign. Nobody ever talks about the environment. They don't talk about it. They want clean air. They want clean water. This Green New scam is the worst thing that's ever happened.
Agree.
They're destroying the windmills all over the place. You fly over these gorgeous areas. You have windmills going all over.
And you're not going to have any birds around. And the ones in the ocean are messing up the whales. Windmills were great back when we all had buggy whips and carts.
Yeah, they were much nicer then. Actually, they were actually much nicer. No, when you think of what they've done, though, with all of the money that they spent, trillions and trillions of dollars. China does nothing, by the way, just so you understand.
No, China, India, absolutely
no, they don't do anything. And by the way, that flies right over our country. You do understand.
Yeah.
Those winds, 4.5 days, it's over. So here we are. It costs us twice to make a product, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. And we're trying to keep everything nice and clean. But the wind's flying in from China, India, and every place else. It's crazy, isn't it?
Well, one of the things, the EP, one of the things that because living in Louisiana, we have a horrible problem with sewage and water overfills and things like that. And the budget for these mayors have this budget for the sewage, but yet nothing's ever done. Right? These engineers and their plans are based off how much money they get opposed to solving the problem. So Mike Rowe told me about a company.
Good guy.
Oh yeah, Mike. Let me put my glasses on. I want to get this right.
I can't believe you wear glasses, huh?
50. Sewage Century, right? Brad Colbert, I believe that you knew his father owned the Texas Rangers.
Yep.
So they came up with this little tiny invention. It's like this, like a mushroom, a little ball in it. And when you put it in the manholes, it separates the gas, and the little ball comes up, and the water can't come out the manhole. So the sewage water doesn't spill into overflows. It costs $0.25. You don't need a committee for it. You just put them in. I think one city was like $250,000 opposed to the $20 million they spent, and it pays for itself in a year, and it's done. So here I am in Louisiana. I go, oh, this is great. And we have to form a committee. We have to do this.
Well, you have a great new governor in Louisiana. I bet you he'd take a look at it, because your new governor, a Republican, is he was the attorney general. Now he's a governor. So if you give me that, I'll send it to him. Okay.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Why is that something? I mean, it's a big problem, and
it's a problem everywhere. Our drinking water, the fluoride in it, we're seeing, and then now we're seeing sewage, and it's a lot of autoimmune diseases are happening with our kids. If you give me,
I will send it, and I'll bet you get action.
That's what kind of guy Trump is right there, man. You telling him you got water sewage issues, and he's going to send it directly to the governor. It's just amazing to me that, we know our drinking water is bad. You can't even drink the water out your house no more. The sewage, I think in Atlanta not too long ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, it was a rupture. They told you now boil water advisory. That's what it means, that you got bacteria, sewage, potential feces in your drinking water. Don't even shower, minimum on it, boil your water, all this and that. But it's happening more and more often. Why is that the case? Under budget, stuff like that. Cities making cuts. They're not cleaning the sewage like they need to be, but we're steady paying water bill, sewage. We're paying all this stuff, but nothing's getting done because we don't technically have no money. They use our money. They done gave it away. Taxes, whatever the case may be. You can research this. It's all allegedly, as they say, but research it for yourself. Let us know what you think. I think you can even Google wherever you stay at how much fluoride is actually in your water. Do a water test on it. I guarantee you that acidic level of your house water is through the roof. You can't even drink it. They wouldn't even advise you to give it to your pets. But that's just another ball game. Like I said, that's why I became a nutritionist over the last 13 years. Researching this stuff is it breaks your heart if you actually know the food that we eat and the stuff that we drinking and putting in our bodies, and we don't pay no attention to it. That's why I said my faith is off the charts, because if you knew what we do to ourselves and our body is still strong, we're still here and we're still fighting, have most of our mental capacity, that just lets you know how special we are. And I always think how special we could be if we do actually eat the way God intended for us to eat, drink the way God intended for us to drink, and do some of the things back to nature that God intended for us to walk, what path he intended for us to walk. What would we look like? What would we be? How long would we live? I think it'll be unimaginable just to think how strong and what kind of transformation we have made physically, mentally, and spiritually if we live that way. But share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. I think we're winding down on this video, but we still got a little bit more to go. Let's go ahead and continue.
Moved. One, because my daughter's an equestrian now and I had to move to New Jersey. But we eventually had to move because not only that, but what we're seeing with the hurricane storms, the insurance companies jacking it up. Now, I'm blessed to make a good living, but I'm not paying $300,000 a year in house taxes. So I made
insurance is one of the biggest increases, and it's happened in the last 4 years. People are going crazy with the insurance costs. And I say, what about self-insurance? Sometimes people are better off with self-insurance. They can't afford the insurance. And then the problem is when you need the insurance, they don't want to pay. And they negotiate, right? They say, we're not going to pay you. And you end up getting 5 cents on the dollar. It's a problem. Yeah. It's a real problem.
And, I know you have a million things to do, but father to grandfather, I would like to ask you a question. I made a mistake with my child, my daughter, when she wanted to get an equestrian. I was supposed to tell her she was allergic. I didn't do that to horses because it's expensive. It's unbelievable. and you guys talked a lot about it. Now, my daughter's now going to Wilmington, Florida to compete. And I had to move the horses down there.
So she's very good, right?
Very good. Like I'm in.
That's good.
I'm in.
Good.
But yeah, after this is over, I'll be sweeping this place up.
Good.
Every extra dollar.
Good.
But your granddaughters and your family, did they ride horses as well? Did they do equestrian?
Not too much. They like it. They do it maybe a little bit, but not like your daughter. No, your daughter's supposed to be very like you, a talented athlete, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You can see it. Now I've heard that.
Yeah, my son plays baseball at travel league. So I'm the GM. The way I look at it, if you're the first one in, last one to leave, daddy invests. I just forgot to put
The
a salary.
baseball's
a little cheaper.
A little bit less.
It never ends though.
It never ends.
No. But we're going to be in Wilmington. How far is Wilmington from Mar-a-Lago?
So Wilmington is about 20 minutes away.
Can I get a group rate?
Yes, you're going to come over. We're going to have dinner with your daughter and your family, your wife. We're going to come over and have dinner. But do you mean Wellington or Wilmington?
Wilmington. I say it wrong because I just paid to have the horses moved, so it's a little traumatic for me.
It could be, but it's either one's about 20, 25 minutes to come over. I'd love to have you on.
Thank you, sir.
No, but you're a terrific guy. Look, it's that show has caught on, and the whole group is great. But I've always watched you. You always were defending me, and a lot of people don't defend me, and I like people that defend me because I think I'm doing the right thing. And we have a lot of bad people in our country. We have a lot of people that you almost say they must hate our country because what they do is so bad for our country. But I just have always.
Well, I'm not allergic to straight talk.
Yeah.
And every man of consequence that I learned from in my life never bullshitted nothing with me.
And that's one thing about Tyrus, man. If y'all don't know anything about him, y'all seen that video I did with him and what's his name? Something Morgan. He straight talks. He's not holding any punches. He's gonna let it out like that. He's a father. He's a businessman. He's pretty much straight. I don't care what kind of topic it is. He's gonna lay it on the line and then just gonna stay focused on it. I mean, that's why I like him. But I mean, like I said before, this is an amazing interview right here. I think it's wrapping up. Let me see if I can go to some points to see what the importance of election, Trump's biggest influence. And that's, man, it's coming right here. That can save millions. That was it. So, I mean, it's almost there. We're just going to go ahead and continue. Like I said before, I don't want to drag it out.
Whether it was Dusty Rhodes, whether it was football coaches, whether it was anybody I was with, they always told it to me straight, even when I didn't like what I wanted to hear, because I always believe everybody can handle bad news and good news, but no news and bullshit. Don't piss down my back. And my grandmother used to say and tell me it's rain. And that's one thing that you have never done. You always, if you don't want to hear it.
And that saying is crazy because I used to have people say, hey, don't piss on me and call it rainwater. He said his grandma told him, don't piss on my back and say it's rainwater. It's amazing.
American people can accept bad news because when we know how bad it is, then we can look forward to getting it better. And that's in this age of endorsements.
Yeah.
That's why you have my endorsement, Mr. President. You can take that, a cup of coffee, and do whatever you want with it.
It means a lot to me. It does. But, I think this is going to be the most important election in the history of our country.
I agree.
Because our country is going bad. I hate to say, I wouldn't do this for just politics. Our country is going bad. The things we do. I mean, men playing in women's sports, okay?
Not, absolutely not.
It's crazy. And let's not say it's the most important, but it's just crazy, the whole concept. Having no borders, having elections where you're not allowed to ask somebody whether or not they happen to live in the country. Just anybody can walk in.
Yeah.
It's really wacky, and we're going to get it changed, Cyrus.
I believe that. Well, now, I have to ask this because you love sports as much as I do, especially boxing.
I do.
And,
I love.
Do you miss not being able to do all that stuff? Because like WrestleMania 4 and 5, part of my childhood, inspired me to end up becoming a wrestler. I thank you and God fell for that.
I did that. I'm in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes, you are.
And Dana is a good friend of mine with UFC. What a job he's done, right? Dana White is incredible. He's like an incredible guy. And I was always involved. And I remember in those days, Hulk is a great guy. You have to say. Yeah. He was great. Right?
Yeah, when he ripped his shirt off. And now listen, I was a Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff guy, but I got it. But I think that was a great moment. And so you're very quick, and you can talk trash with the best of them. Yeah. Who was the biggest influence? Was it Don King or Muhammad Ali? Because your style is like ours. Like when you come to talking trash, and I know you hung out with those guys. I know a lot of. I did the search. I know that you have been. It's hilarious after reading and the stuff I've saw, and I just saw a little bit. It's hard to find, but you have been a regular guy with. You never cared what color somebody was or who they slept with. All you cared was the content of their character, if they could do the damn job or not.
They were both friends of mine. Now, Don King is still alive. You know, he's 92 years old.
Yeah.
He lives in Florida. He's a great guy. He endorsed me, very strongly endorsed. He said, "You got to vote for Trump." And I probably spoke to him a week ago, maybe. And he was great. Very different guys. But there's nobody. Don King, each incredible. Don King, nobody like that. And Muhammad Ali, nobody like that. These were two unique people. You know, Don King was a tough cookie, too. He beat the hell out of people. Unfortunately, it cost him a lot.
Yeah.
But he was a tough guy. But he's a big supporter. Muhammad Ali was actually a friend of mine. I knew him pretty well. He was amazing, actually. He was amazing. And, you know, you look at some of the fights. Sonny Liston had no chance of being beaten, and he got beaten badly twice.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you look at George Foreman, another really good guy, but he just had George Foreman.
George Foreman at that time was bulletproof.
Bulletproof. Remember when he fought three guys that knocked him out?
I was a little young, but I remember
he fought three guys one night, and but the third guy, and Muhammad Ali was watching. The third guy, he was getting a lot tired. You know.
What's your favorite? What was your favorite all-time big prize fight that you were at?
Well, believe it or not, I was at Madison Square Garden. I think it was Ali Frazier won.
Oh, so you were there. That's, in my opinion, the most historic fight of all time.
So I was there as a young guy, very young guy. And I remember there were many heart attacks. Can you believe it? They had heart attacks. Men, I don't even want to say it because it sounds ridiculous, but there were a lot of heart attacks. It was the craziest evening. Two undefeated, legendary fighters. They were both undefeated. And it was brutal. And that was the days of the 15-round fight, you know.
But they had to fight.
And I can't say it because, you know, look, I'm not in the ring. But
they said Ali Frazier won. I know there was those are some fights right there. But I got to say a Mike Tyson fight, man, back in the day. Well, I guess because it ain't brutal, it's just quick knockouts and stuff like that. But actually seeing them go the distance, I don't think he never really went the distance. It was always just a sight knockout. So I can see what he's talking about, an Ali fight. But I did like lightweight too, you know, like Sugar Shane and Floyd Mayweather, all those guys, because they are brutal fights. It wasn't rarely knockouts, but it's going the distance and just constant punishment. But share y'all thoughts. Which boxing match was y'all best that y'all actually liked most?
Those fights were better. You know, those extra 3 rounds.
Well, that was the championship round. They say 11 and 12.
They were the championships round.
Now, how are you dressed for that? Because it was the 70s and it was wild, crazy. Now, you've always been never been a big fan, but was it just the suit or did you have the jacket?
I think it was just pretty normal. But I was a very young guy.
Yeah.
But in terms of it,
well, we're gonna go ahead and end it. I know y'all don't want to hear nothing about his boxing going to these sporting events. I think he just did something recently about a sporting event. And who it was, I forgot the name of the fighter. It was a UFC fight, and they gave him his belt and stuff like that. But that's the thing about Trump, man. He's a man. He's a sporting event. He likes sports. He loves family. And he loves helping others. I think that's something, maybe it's just on the outside, but I think your character speaks about longevity. He's been doing this since he was a young man. Mike Tyson always talks about the story like that. He helped him. Even Whoopi, who is his biggest critic now, who calls him a racist and stuff like that on The View. They call him all kind of names on That View. I'm surprised that show is still alive. Or it's on air, but it's on air for a reason, if you already know that. But she's talked about him that way and said he hired her 4 times when she couldn't get a headliner job out there back in the day. But he hired her, paid her the most money she ever made back then, and headlining 4 times. But he's racist. I can't understand it, but maybe you can. But share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Hopefully this clears up a little bit about Trump, why he's running. He's a grandfather. He's a father. He's a spiritual guy. Allegedly, he appears to be a spiritual guy, but he's knows that it's a war on manhood. He knows that it's a war on religion in this country. And that's the backbone of America, if you can say that. Without the manhood being attacked, that affects the women. We already know, I mean, sexuality, that doesn't even matter when it comes to that. But I never agree with men, natural men playing in women's sports. I think they should have their own league and they should be allowed to play. That's my stance, because it's a genetic imbalance if they do play in a female league. I don't care if you take it hormone blockers or whatever the case. You was raised as the man, so that muscle you can't go back, and that's from the personal training and nutritionist side of me. You can't just take that away just because you're taking some drugs. That's just not going to happen. But I do think they should be able to play. But it is an attack on manhood. It's an attack on spirituality. We see, like he said before, I don't know if y'all caught that or you missed it, that it's a war on the church and people are doing things that's driving people away from the church. He spoke on that. So maybe you didn't hear it, but we'll wind it back. Look at it. Look exactly what he's saying about it. And have we seen any candidate speak about church, the war on manhood, the things that's going on against women, natural women in this country right now, or all the other things that just don't make sense that we see every day? Those laws, helping law enforcement remove taxes from it and keeping some of that money, if they implement that, that'll be amazing. Just more regulations on keeping America as America, removing all this inflation, driving down some of these increased insurance rates that they're hiking up. I mean, it's a lot of good things, but share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. This is One-on-One with Cutting Edge 50. Any questions or comments, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow again. Join the channel, help us conduct these interviews that we got lined up. It's your boy. With that, we out.